Dave, I know you just took a trip across the country. Did you watch any movies on that flight?
I did. I did. I wanted to do Deadpool and Wolverine actually because I saw that dropped right there. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and rewatch that, and then I forgot I haven't upgraded Disney all the way, so it doesn't let you download movies unless you have the
Mm,
Ultimate Premium Extra Deluxe
wow.
membership, and I only have the Ultra Premium, so I got to get the extra two steps next time. But I do have Max, so I watched a couple movies. I watched randomly Greenland, which is with Gerard Butler. It's a disaster film. It kind of more centers on the panic of the people more so than the disaster itself. It's about a comet or a trail of comets called Clark, I think, that are hurtling towards the sky, and people are scrambling to get to these military bases and fly to the bunkers out in Greenland. It was all right. It wasn't one of my favorite disaster movies. The acting was good. You know, the when stuff did happen, the VFX was pretty wild, but it was okay. But I watched Furiosa after that, and I
Okay.
actually I heard not good things about it. The majority of the stuff I heard of Furiosa this year were not great reviews. Um, I'm somebody who my first time watching Mad Max Fury Road, I thought it was a little overhyped from everything I'd heard. On my rewatch, I enjoyed it more, and I do appreciate it now. I enjoy watching Fury Road, which I
Yeah.
watched it after Furiosa.
Nice.
But I thought Furiosa was a fun movie. It
Okay.
was just enjoyable. Chris Hemsworth was very entertaining on screen with his little villain role that he had and his
Hmm.
prosthetic nose.
That's right.
I thought it was kind of perfect for what they were going for and the world they're in. This post-apocalyptic, dark but kind of goofy at the same time. Like there's a lot of goofy, weird humor to things.
Hmm.
So I thought it fit perfectly. You get Immortan Joe, a younger Immortan Joe, and his background with Furiosa, and Anya Taylor Joy killed it. I thought she
Okay.
did great. I think she, after watching Charlize Theron right after, I would say I think Anya Taylor Joy won. I think she did a better Furiosa, dude. It was really
Whoa.
good. I really enjoyed most of her time on screen. Yeah, it was just fun, exciting. VFX was good, so I didn't mind it. So I don't know, maybe people had too of high of expectations, but I enjoyed the watch for sure.
Nice. I'll check it out.
There you go.
Yeah, it didn't do great in the box office. That's for sure.
No, not really. What
I
about
watched
you?
a
What have you been
I
watching?
watched a couple classic De Niro movies.
Okay.
One was Casino, which is a
Yep.
movie that
There you go.
I guess it wasn't very well received when it came out because they were like
No.
looking for Goodfellas Part Two in a way, and it didn't live up to the hype of Goodfellas, of course.
Right.
But it
Okay.
came out 3 weeks after Heat, which is crazy because De Niro's in both of those.
That's insane. Like think about that right now, something like that happening where a major star in the same exact movie comes out in the same year. Like it's it's just weird.
But yeah, it's a good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. Just a crazy story about De Niro's like this casino manager back in like the 70s, I'm pretty sure before. And that does kind of
Hmm.
age well because at the end they talk about how the corporations came in and just demolished all the casinos and then came and built their own, and that's basically how Vegas is today. You know, it's not the same as it was back in the 70s. And Joe
Right.
Pesci's crazy. He's like the one of the
He's always
wildest characters
crazy.
ever, always crazy. And then Sharon Stone, right? Yeah, Sharon Stone is
Yeah. Yeah.
his wife, and she's just
She
a
she meets a good
crazy
fate,
character.
right?
She dies. Yeah,
Yeah.
she
Parking lot,
ODs.
right? Oh. Oh, you're right. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Very good.
and the guy from Family Guy that fucks with Peter all the time. James what?
James
James
Woods?
Woods. Yeah, he's her
James
boyfriend.
Woods. Oh my gosh.
So that's hella funny just
Oh
to
my
think about
gosh.
it that. And then the other movie I watched was Meet the Parents, which I also haven't seen in
Classic.
probably 10 years. Oh man, it's so funny. So there's
Same.
so many one-liners where Robert De Niro is always going, "Greg's Jewish." Just to point out in the most awkward situations. And then there's that when they're riding in the car and he's like, the Puff the Magic Dragon song comes on and he's like, I think he's talking about, like smoking a marijuana cigarette. And he goes, "Are you a pothead fucker?" so funny. And
Just
then
denies.
you can milk anything with nipples. I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me? It's just like
It's an all-timer.
there's so many awkward moments and like cringy moments. And also Ben Stiller's character is like such an idiot. He does so many dumb things. Like the cat goes missing, and then he brings the new one from the pound and spray paints the tail. Like, how do you think that was gonna work out, bro?
Like, what are you, 12?
Yeah. But it's a good movie, and they do kind of like the second half of the movie tries to do like the tug at your heartstrings, and they did an okay job. His girlfriend, not very supportive. She's like definitely like not helping him out, knowing who her dad is. You know.
Yeah, I can't think of the word. Yeah, nailed it. There you go. Really threw a dead fish in your lap there with that one. Well, I was gonna say I've also real quick. I started watching Flash a little bit, and I don't remember if I talked about that much in here or not. But it's all right. I'm still watching, but it's pretty goofy here and there. But
I'd imagine.
It's so I'm gonna keep watching it though. I'll let you know if it's worth it. But I would say right now I don't think it's gonna be something I'm gonna tell you to watch. But we'll see. I'm like 9 episodes in now. They did have an episode with Arrow. It was Flash in the Arrow or something, and then a Reverse Flash episode right after that. So it was back to back. Like, all right, that wasn't bad, but man, there's just such corny lines. It's tough.
It's CW, right?
Yes, and they put the W. No, I don't know. They put the CW in CW, I guess.
And doesn't this end in like the Flashpoint paradox thing they did, like the special presentation?
Oh, Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Is that what it was? Is that like the
that
Flash
was
thing?
the last main one, yeah, where it was everybody like they kind of combined all the series, so Supergirl and Legend of Tomorrow and Arrow and the Superman from Superman and Lois actually started in that little event there.
Damn.
So yeah, but I think that's like 8 seasons in. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to fall off much sooner than that.
I don't see you making that far.
I don't either.
All right, let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Why So Sidious, a Nerd podcast. Joining me today is my co-host David Cochran, and today we are covering the finale of The Penguin. And don't forget to check out some of our other episodes. We have our continuing coverage of this series, The Penguin, every episode, out now.
Wow.
So if you haven't watched the finale, what are you doing here? Go back, listen to them, watch the episodes, come on back. And of course, we have our Week in Geek series, our latest one out, breaking down the latest Cap 4, Thunderbolts, Dune Prophecy, Skeleton Crew trailers, and much more. And if you're in the DC mode, we have our latest comic review on Batman Hush. I know you guys are both pretty big fans of that comic series, right?
Dude, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It quickly became one of my favorite Batman runs already. So
wow.
Yeah, it was a good read. Good read. Recommend to anybody out there looking for a Batman comic. If you're jumping into it, it's a solid one because it's got all the little aspects of Batman you could want. And if you're already reading Batman comics, you want a new one, definitely go check out Hush.
Nice. Well, don't forget to follow us on social media on Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube. And we are getting close to 500 subscribers on YouTube. So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple and you don't, or listening to this on a TikTok clip, maybe, you never know.
Ooh, yeah.
Subscribe to YouTube, please. All right, let's get into the episode. We'll do a quick summary before we start. The finale of The Penguin wraps up Oz Cobblepot's rise to dominance in Gotham's criminal underworld. Oz successfully defeats Sofia Falcone by pinning crimes on her, resulting in her being sent back to Arkham Asylum. He also eliminates Victor, his loyal associate, strangling him in a shocking moment to sever all familial ties, showcasing his ruthless nature. Oz establishes his empire, moving into a luxurious penthouse where he installs his now vegetative mother, fulfilling a twisted promise to take care of her. The final scene features the bat signal lighting up on Gotham's sky, suggesting Batman might have taken notice. Woo.
Dude, sorry, real quick. I don't even think you even got to talk about that flashback scene we got last week, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That was
since
nuts.
it kind of leads directly into this episode, yeah. What'd you think about that whole flashback reveal about Oz?
He was just such a weird kid. Like, I don't understand how you could be that jealous of your mom and like insecure to where you need her and like she can only show affection to you, no one else. It's not like they
Yeah,
were bad kids. They weren't like bullies to him. They weren't mean to him. They were just playing around, having fun. They're like, okay, like, Oz, come with us. We'll go, play outside, whatever.
mm-hmm.
And he fucking locks him in a sewer drain and never comes back and like pretends like nothing happened. Like, oh man, it was like just like what happens in this finale. It's like, why would I ever even think about rooting for this piece of crap?
Dude, exactly. And JD and I obviously talked about it, but yeah, they did what they needed to do for us to look at him as an antagonist moving forward. It is very easy to not be rooting for him going forward at this point, so they did what needed to be done, but I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Well, this episode starts off with going through some past memories with Julian, who
Aye.
there was an eagle-eyed viewer out there. I saw this on the internet. I didn't see it the first time, but on his desk there is a glove and a mask very much resembling the Scarecrow. So when it comes to the Scarecrow, I just watched the Dark Knight trilogy recently, and Cillian Murphy is a Scarecrow in that, and he does a pretty good job. And he kind of has a similar role where he's a doctor at Arkham Asylum who likes to go into these. Oh, is he a doctor or like works there?
Yeah, he's a psychiatrist at Arkham.
Okay, and
Yeah.
he like likes getting test subjects and doing these like different types of experiments on them. So I feel like Julian is kind of like that with his like memory device, whatever the hell that thing is he's using on
The
people.
red light.
He has Scarecrow vibes.
Yeah, when you first said that to me, I didn't think excuse me, $5. I didn't really think about that being the case because Dr. Julian Rush is a character in the comics already. So he's a character. But again, that doesn't mean they can't change stuff. They've changed characters completely. They've combined stuff. The MCU has multiple characters where they're kind of two characters merged into one new one in the MCU. So that could totally be the case. And then, yeah, that picture, that image, I mean, it's clearly Scarecrow's glove with the pointed fingers, and it looks pretty convincingly that that's a cloth mask hanging up on that other little pedestal there. And the other thing is Scarecrow was also a psychiatrist at Arkham. That's where he started too. So both, and I think his name was, oh God, what was it? Jonathan Crane. So Jonathan and Julius, both psychiatrists at Arkham. The names are almost close. So they totally could be doing that. But there's one aspect. Wow, when your brain just crashes, happens a lot to me. I would be down for it, though. I'm hoping it comes back to me at this point. But I think it's very interesting and totally could be the case. But, oh, sorry, that's what it was. The other thing was it's possibly that maybe he's just keeping one of the prisoners at Arkham's stuff on his desk as like maybe he had some crazy history with Scarecrow in Arkham and some crazy psychiatric deal going on, and now he keeps his gloves on his desk or something like that. I don't know, but
yeah, I can see it, but I think it leans more towards Scarecrow.
Yeah, I at this point I think so too.
But he's going through these memories with Frances, and I was wondering why she looked older at first. I was like, okay, Oz is still the same age, but she's a completely different actress now. So I was like, that kind of confused me for a second. But yeah, going through the memories, and she basically, I forgot what the guy's name was, but she's telling him, she knows what he did. He played the victim.
I think it's Frank. I don't know.
Frank, yeah.
I think.
And he says, you can look the other way and raise him or let him go. And she's like, let him go. Like, oh. And then she considers it. Mm-hmm. And Oz basically makes his pitch, not knowing he's about to get killed. But he says, I'll get you that penthouse you always wanted. I'll take care of you, Ma. And it's like, uh, you're so like she should have just done it.
Right. Dude, that was intense. Like the line she has where she says, "I got the devil in my house. What am I supposed to do?" Like
Yeah.
talking about her little son. It was like, oh my god, that paint right there painted a really good picture of the Penguin as a villain moving forward. Like it really helped me see him as a villain as soon as she said that line because it just felt so chilling. Oh, Rex, that was the name of the gangster, Rex. But yeah, that was wild. She straight up like was putting a hit on him, like
Yeah.
10-year-old kid or however old. But that was great. But that was the we also saw yet again that he's been talking himself out of near death situations since he was a kid. He was about to die there too. We've seen him with
Dude.
Sophia about to die. We've seen him with the
That's true.
Sal Maroni about to die, all in this season. And he's been on the verge of I'm gonna kill you, and he talks his way out of it. And that's exactly what happened in that scene with his mom. So that was interesting to see that. Like he's always had that mentality.
He was bred for it. He learned as a young man, and it came in
Yeah.
effective.
Dude, and going forward when during the Oz scenes, I could totally see the little kid in him somehow. Like it felt like that flashback was like this is actually the older version of that actor. Like it just
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it felt like good casting and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if that kid's from Boston, but he had a good accent. So after the flashback, Vic pulls up on the scene, and all of the other, gang leaders are there. He tries to make a speech, tries to get them, but they're just there for the product, not the Penguin. And I do like how the one guy just kind of walks up, punches him in the stomach, like, bro, you gotta chill out. Like, I don't want to kill you right now, but these other people will. So
Yeah.
knock it off.
Yeah,
And that does come in handy later.
Yeah.
Him. Yeah. So we go to Oz. He wakes up with Sophia, and I'll say, I'd probably fight Batman for her. That's all I'll say. But anyways, Maz there is a prisoner too, and Sophia starts asking these questions, and she's like, "Can you imagine someone doing something so terrible to your own brother? And then when your mom came back, she did nothing, kept feeding it, caring for it. Tell us why you left your brothers to die. It's almost as sick as having a man kill your own son." She's just like going off and like breaking Oz to the bone.
Yeah.
And the mom too. She's just sitting there crying, and she's like, "Did he give you what you wanted, or do you regret your decision?" So it's like, how is your life out in Crown Point right now with no power after, that flashback does kind of set things in a different way. Like he
Yeah.
didn't really. I mean, she had a okay apartment, I guess, but it wasn't a penthouse like he asked.
Right. Well, and then she took him, or he took her to hide again in that even crappier place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, and especially when we see her freak out on him in like episode 3 or 4, where she's like, "What kind of son can't take care of his mother?" And she has that little freak out on him. Now that makes way more sense too, seeing what that started with. So, yeah,
Jeez.
dude. But this scene was insane.
Mm-hmm.
She called him the devil here. Like she finally gets pissed and calls him out. Just says, "Just stop the lying." I know. Like she just snaps and loses it, and somehow, oh, wait, did she stabbed him first, right? I think she loses it, gets up and just comes in, stabs him, breaks the bottle, stabs him in the gut, just like holy crap. And then somehow Oz breaks free yet again and only has 2 people to kill to get himself out of this crazy situation where he's about to die. Sophia's got him right where she wants him. But yet again, there's only 2 guys in the room, and he breaks the chair and kills them both just like that. And now Sophia's has the bad hand. And it's just like, that's like the 4th. It's one of my gripes. That's like the 4th time this has happened this season where there's just 2 people Sophia brings with her. And boom, look at that. Oz got out of it. But it was pretty intense. Oh, the other thing, he got up pretty easily and carried his mom out of the room. For a guy who just got stabbed in the gut and has a bum leg, he picked her up like a linebacker and just sprinted out of that room while firing the handgun at the gangster. I was like, whoa, I ain't never seen him move like that. Like it was pretty intense.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, they were gonna cut her pinky off and he like still wouldn't tell the truth. And she's, and she was like, I know, like just say it. And he's like, oh, it's just the disease talking. And yeah, he said the
Just
devil part, but she's
gaslight.
like, I never stopped hating you. You don't feel a fucking thing. You're a disappointment and a waste of space. It's like, holy crap.
I forgot he was gonna let her finger just get cut off. Like he was
Yeah.
just not budging. Like hell of a guy, Oz.
Oh, and when he's running out, he shoots that guy through the eye right after he put the drops in. That was a cool little like camera detail.
Oh, yeah, that was sick.
And then he takes her to the hospital, staples himself back up. That was kind of crazy, pouring the hydrogen peroxide on there and then just stapling it up. Hey, I mean, gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, that was intense.
And then Vic comes back, and gives another speech that he clearly prepared beforehand. And he tells them it's not just about the drugs. Like, you gave these people jobs, power, you gave them dignity. And he's like, yeah, you know what, you're right. And which also makes what happens at the end even more tragic. Like, good lord, like Vic
Fair.
was like, he shouldn't have stuck around. Like, he should have left with that girl on the train and got the hell out of there. And
For sure.
And he stayed behind with this guy who he knew wasn't a good person.
Dude, he wouldn't have gotten anything with. Well, and he said that. I mean, he did. Oh, we'll get to that, but yeah. I mean, God.
Then Sophia gets the bounty on Oz, where she's saying she's leaving Gotham, but it's it's my business. You can have it, and you can have my house and everything. Which obviously she goes a little crazy with that.
Yeah, a little bit. No, never mind. No, I don't really have anything on that one.
Well, how would you feel about this councilman scene where Oz goes back and bangs the gaffle like, "Oh, come over here, get a little closer," and tries to blame Sophia for all of that.
So I really enjoyed this scene. This was one of my favorite scenes of the finale. We see the mayor Bella Real's little placard there,
Yeah,
which we
classic.
met her in the movie. I think she's shown up once in this season, whether it was on a news clip or something. I think we saw her. And you get this feel. I immediately got this feel as he's walking around, and I'm like, are we about to get a Mayor Cobblepot story string here coming? Like, or I guess Cobb. We're getting Mayor Kingpin, Mayor Fisk. So are we getting a Mayor Cobb right now too? So that was my first thought, is the next storyline with him is going to be getting legitimate and somehow running for mayor. By the end of it, I didn't think that was exactly the case, but I mean, the way he set that up, we get the Councilman Haiti being tied back in, which we saw little teases of him at the beginning of the season. And Oz has a plan, man. He really puts together this great plan. He uses Sophia.
And
He
Salvatore.
turns, yeah, he just uses them as his little pawns on the board that he's playing out here, telling the story. I mean, he turned Sophia into what she was so angry about being called when she wasn't the hangman. And now she's getting pinned for all of the stuff she did and didn't do. So he's turned her into the monster she was so adamant against being. He pinned Maroney with the stuff, and he absolutely elevated himself to the top of the underground. It was just a brilliant move with the councilman there. And life for Sophia is worse than death. She would have, that whole thing going on. I mean, it was just such a brilliant setup by Oz here. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Well, even the guy halfway through goes, "Is any of it true?" It's like, some of it.
Some. Yeah, Sophia did kill some people.
Yeah, he says angry broad got out of the loony bin and went on a rampage. Like, shut in closed case to me. Whoa, hey.
Hey, click the case and call it a book, and we'll close it.
Oh, God. Anyways, so the triads show up, and we think that Vic has sold out Oz at first. Did you think that, or did you know there was a plan behind it? I was wondering if you think Vic got scared?
I didn't think Vic did. I thought that they just tricked Vic and said, yeah, we're going to show up and help him.
Oh,
and then they showed up and were like, yeah, you're screwed. But I didn't see the other guy. I didn't see that part coming. I didn't see him
Right.
standing up. And yeah.
Sophia burns the house down. That was kind of a cool scene, a little artistic. And of course, her dad's watch.
Classic symbolism. A lot of vodka burning down that house too, or whatever that was, gin. I don't
know. And I do like how when she's leaving the house, we see the snow on the ground outside, which I think is a good setup for the Batman 2, which is, of course, set during wintertime, so you see the snow's coming, like, okay. That's what kind of made me feel like Batman 2 is right around the corner, which it's
there
not
you go.
actually.
The Ice Age. God, that was horrible. We'll fix that in post.
So they take Oz to the hangar, and this is where we get the double cross by the triads at first. It's just the triads that are there, and then Oz says, "Let's go for a drive for old time's sake." That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then that's where we see, literally, like straight from The Godfather. That's what it reminded me of when, right at the end, Michael makes the decision to take out all the other, the five family, all the bosses.
Yeah.
And all the leaders get taken out by their second in command, basically. So there's a new leader of every little underground criminal group.
Straight up.
Yeah, but that was a cool scene. It was definitely.
Yeah.
I was wondering how Oz was going to get out of it, and I guess that was a cooler way. Like, hey, it's time for new leadership in Gotham all around. Like, I'm going to be the new leader, and so can you guys.
Right. And so I'm mixing up some of these scenes here. So the airport scene.
Right.
What was that before that? Was that leading into that?
Mm-hmm. The triads.
And then we get the montage of the leaders being killed off and. Okay, so that started at the airport.
Right.
Word. So that's.
And then they get in the car. I think they get into the car, and then it shows the montage.
Okay, yeah. So that was the one where I kind of put another thing. Once again, Sophia was rolling up to a meeting to kill Oz with a few henchmen, but was totally outnumbered and going up against Oz's men, or people who were Oz's men, like pretty recently. And then I don't know, it felt like she only had like 2 or 3 people loyal to her again in that little shootout there. So it felt like to me, there goes another situation where Sophia's showing up and only has 2 people on her side. But I guess it was slightly different. But it was cool. I agree. I like the way they did that. I thought the montage of the leaders being removed and replaced was a cool little touch to put on the end of it and set up the new, I guess, layout of the underground in Gotham.
Yeah. What's next here? Oh, I think it cuts back. Wait. Oh, it goes to Oz and Sophia's conversation.
Okay.
Where, I like the line where he says, "You're going to hell, sweetheart," and she says, "I'll save you a seat."
Yeah, that was clutch.
He tells her to turn around, and that's when the cops show up, frame her for everything instead.
Right.
So how'd you like this final, confrontation between the two?
Yeah, so I liked it. Like I said, I think it was a solid move to not have Sophia killed there. I think that would have been the easy way out for her. Now she has to go back to Arkham, the place she was so adamant in getting out of, that tortured her, that changed her. Like, I guarantee you that was the thing she wanted least in this life, was to be sent back to Arkham. So I think that was such a cold move by Oz. I liked the little standoff where he's driving her again as her driver, like one more time, how they started out in their relationship. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was acted well. I thought it was written well. It wasn't insane, but it was simple enough. And I liked the move by Oz there. And I kind of actually felt bad for Sophia. When they started putting the handcuffs on her, there was a part of me, because I'm thinking of what's going through her head, like, I'm going back to Arkham after all this. Yeah. I thought I was ending him tonight and getting out to Italy. I burned the house down. I was out of here, and I'm going back to Arkham. So it felt like a pretty brutal scene for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, I felt like we switched back and forth throughout the season where we were rooting for Oz, rooting for Sophia. And I was like, okay, yeah. Sophia, you've kind of crossed the line. And then Oz crosses like 3 lines.
He hurdles it, jumps back, runs behind it, and then hurdles it a couple more times.
So, yeah, it was a great end of the season.
Yeah.
But he goes to see his mom after, and he's got the whiskey or whatever he's about to celebrate, and she suffered a serious stroke and she is a vegetable now. Yikes. And it was kind of sad, the scene. He's like, I did it. I took it all from them. I'm the king. Tell me you're proud of me. Tell me I did good.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, like, but it's what he deserves at the same time. Like, this is what you deserve for like killing your brothers and doing all the fucked up things you've done. Like, you want that reassurance at the end from this person you've been obsessed with your entire life. Like, sorry, you're not gonna get it, and you don't deserve it.
Yeah, and after all that, which Sophia kind of did make a point. This wasn't about your mom. He keeps saying that everything I do is this wasn't about your mom. This was for you. But there was the aspect in a way. It was like after all that, all the dark stuff he did to be like, look, I provided for you, Ma. As soon as he got that, she's pretty much just dead. Like it's a cold world there, Oz. What a freezing one. I'll stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's get to we should ring the bells for our boy.
Oh my God, man. Ring them. Do I have a
And
ring?
dude, I was thinking they kind of got me. Did they get you for a second, or did you think it was like Oz was about to kill him right here? Because I was thinking, okay,
No.
like Vic made it. Like, let's go. Vic actually survived this season because we talked about it earlier. We're like, he is this tragic character where we're gonna get attached to, and it's gonna be his death that puts us over the edge. And it was predictable, but it still got me in the end. And he's saying like, thanks for taking a chance on me. Like, my family died when the Riddler attacked, and you took me in when I was just robbing tires off people's cars, and gave me this life I never thought I'd have. And then he like
Bro.
just chokes him too. Like, good God, can't even
It's
like
almo-
yell at him.
Dude, it's making me like hate Oz more just hearing you repeat what happened there, because I haven't rewatched it. I haven't thought about it really since I watched it. I'm getting more angry about like how I don't like this character anymore, and I want to see Batman stomp him into the ground a few times. Like that was I had no idea. I did not think that was going to happen. They were having this nice talk, he's putting his arm around him. He's like, I thought it was a stepping point for Oz. Like, okay, maybe he's having this first connection where it can actually be something he can build on. And Vic finally feels like he fits in. And no, I did not think at that point that that's where we're going. And even he put his arm on his shoulder though, and he did say something kind of weird. And I started getting maybe a little nervous. And then, oh my God, he puts his hand on his throat and was just like, no. It was one of those things where my jaw was just dropped the entire scene as he choked him. And you're hearing Vic say, please. Like, it wasn't quick. He didn't shoot him in the back of the head or anything. We had to listen to him beg for his life while he's choking the life out of him. Like, Penguin is a villain.
I don't understand why like people don't like go for the eyes or like get a little crazier when you're getting choked out. In the movies they getting choked and they're like, I feel like there's like more you could do. Maybe like wriggle out of it. I don't know, drop to the ground, roll. Like he's fat. Like, but
Right. He's got a bum leg, throw an elbow. No, I totally agree. I thought of that at a point, like there was no fight there, and I almost thought maybe it was like he was so heartbroken by what was happening, or so in shock that this was happening that he just froze up. But oh God.
But from Oz's perspective, I guess I get it. Like,
Don't say it.
No, because he's saying, family is weakness, and I can't have any weaknesses anymore. Like, I've seen what's happened to Salvatore Maroni. Like, look what happened to him after his wife and son died, and Sophia with the same thing after her brother died, and me with my mom. So, but it was, I mean, still, just like give him like $10,000 and say, all right, go move to California with your girlfriend. Like, your job's done here. You could have done that.
Yeah, you could trust him. It's not like Vic was gonna turn him over. He might have fought it and said, "No, I'm not leaving." But, God, yeah, I don't know, man. That was tough scene to watch.
Yeah.
Tough look for my guy Vic.
But we do go to the she gets that penthouse she always wanted, and it's like, God, you're a delusional piece of shit. Like, and he dresses the prostitute lady, I forgot her name,
Yeah,
up like his mom with
Eve,
the
I
same
think.
hairdo.
What was that, bro? What was that? That's full of psychotic.
That's weird
That
as
was
fuck.
crazy. Because I was hella confused. I was like, is he hallucinating? Is that like a young? Oh, that's the prostitute. He paid this woman to dress up as his mom.
And like say
Okay.
same motherly things
I'm
to him.
proud of you and yada yada yada. While
He's my
she's
good
like straight up
boy.
Homelander stuff right here.
Yeah.
That was intense. Like he is a psychotic person. He has many screws loose. A lot of deep childhood trauma that he's got buried there, and it is poisoning that man.
Then we see.
We
Oh,
did. Yo, yeah.
I was
What
about
were
to
you gonna
say,
say?
Sophia back in Arkham.
Oh, I was just gonna say the other aspect of Oz.
Okay.
When he walked up in that scene, he had the classic top hat on and a cane. So he was very close to the classic comic book look for Penguin. If they added an umbrella and a monocle, that would have really sent it over the top. Probably been a little bit too much to have a monocle, so I agree with taking that one away. Maybe give him that long cigarette like he always has in the animated series. But yeah, they did give him the top hat and the cane when he was walking up there. So they kind of gave us the completed, season finale comic book outfit. It's just a top hat.
I liked it. But Sophia's
Yeah.
back in Arkham, and she gets a letter from her half sister, Selena Kyle. How about that?
Wow. Yeah.
So I saw like a fan made poster for a Catwoman show, and I think that would be kind of cool. Cause do you think they're gonna do a Penguin season 2 after the Batman 2? Do you think they'll do another season of this in between?
So I think initially it was planned as a mini series. We have
Right.
seen that before where something starts in a mini series and then it gets a season
Shogun.
2. Yep, Shogun, among a couple other things. I think they asked Colin Farrell about it, and he said if there's a great idea for season 2 and the writing was really muscular and it's stronger on the page than it was the first season, of course I would do it. But that's him saying that. That doesn't mean that James Gunn is going to greenlight another Batman project in Elseworlds. I don't know how much he wants that to happen. Taking away from the Batman story he's about to start trying to create here. So I don't know. I really don't, but I would be so here for it if they kept building out on these different singular characters in this universe. I think a Catwoman one would be cool too. I was kind of hoping we got her in this season. I was hoping
Right.
she showed up. Zoe Kravitz. I was hoping we got like a little bit of something here. I didn't think about the fact that she found out that Falcone was her father in the movie, and I didn't think about that connecting to Sophia being the daughter of Falcone at all. But so when she said that, it was kind of like, oh, yeah, all right, that's kind of cool. All right, totally forgot about that. So that being said, I don't know what Selena's plan is here. I have a hard time seeing her teaming up with Sophia, so I don't know what the deal will be
Yeah.
here. But
I could see her freeing her though, getting her out of there somehow.
yeah, Hurley's showing up and asking questions about, Falcone. I don't know.
But I do think we need a series of some sort in between Batman 2 and 3. Because this was so cool to get us ready for the next one. And if they're gonna have 3-year breaks, put a show, do anything. Just have it in that Battinson universe.
Yeah. I'm so here for this. Yeah. This was such a success. I would love for them to continue.
And we got the bat signal in the sky
Yep.
at the end, like I said in the summary. That was super cool to see. That was like the perfect amount of Batman you needed in the show.
Yeah, I'm glad that I was kind of like, wow, they're really not going to say anything about Batman this whole time, huh? And then they gave me that at the very end. I was like, that'll do. That's fine. It wasn't incredible, but it was a perfect little touch thrown in the end of there. So yeah. Because where the hell was he? The city block got exploded. All this stuff was popping off, and there's no mention of Batman showing up. So at least he finally got word.
So one more quick thing. Colin Farrell said I don't know if he was serious tonight. He says he has 5 or 6 scenes in the Batman 2. How much screen time do you think he's going to get? I don't see him being the main villain. I do wonder how big of a focal point he's going to be. I could see him just being kind of the same thing again.
Yeah, it's hard for me to know what to expect here. because there's rumor about, Mr. Freeze or what other villain that's going to be for Batman 2. And so
Court
I
of
don't think
Owls.
Penguin is going to be the main. Yeah, Court of Owls. So I don't see him being the main villain after already being in the first one, having his full series here. I don't think
Right.
they're building this entire universe around Penguin. So I would be very surprised to see him have a large role. But it does feel kind of weird because it feels like we're leading into something with this series we got here. So I have to feel like he's going to be in some of it. But I would agree. I think it might be just right around the same amount as the first movie. They're gonna have to go to him a few times. There might be one kind of crucial second act scene with his henchmen or him getting involved somewhere. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't see him being in it a hell of a lot more than the first one.
Same. I think it's fine. I like that because
Yeah.
Batman needs to move forward with like his rogues gallery. You know.
Right. There's a lot to cover. We touched on Penguin a bit, but I will say JD mentioned in our chat earlier that it'd be kind of sick for a full-blown Penguin Empire versus Batman deal. And although I don't really want that being the next movie because I feel like there's a lot to branch out, like we just said, I also think that could be a pretty cool concept. Seeing the Colin Farrell Penguin and his whatever underground he builds and dealing with Batman for a full movie length I would be totally down to see that.
Oh yeah, any day. All right, well, let's wrap it up with some overall thoughts and a rating. Dave, would you like to go first?
Yeah. I didn't write out anything much for these overall thoughts here, but it was solid. This was a great season. It started off amazing. It dragged a little bit halfway through the season. Not even dragged, really, actually. Drag's not the right word because stuff was popping off left and right. I guess I feel like it got a little loose. It got a little, it slipped here. uh, it missed here and there. It kind of got lazy here and there on a few things halfway through the season. Some things were a tiny bit repetitive, but I think they really landed it solid. Episodes 7 and 8 were wild. Colin Farrell did an incredible job here. Christine, I always forget her last name, but Sofia Falcone, she killed it. The whole cast did great with this. I loved the writing. I thought they created such a cool story within this Batman universe. So the job was a success, absolutely a success of a season. And I've heard nothing but good things. I kind of haven't been on Instagram much. Maybe that's why. But everybody I've talked to has been blown away by how good this has been. Like it raised the bar for superhero series. Really, it really almost opened up a possibility of new genres in the superhero series. So, it just a great success and great success. But it was supposed to be a mini series. But I'd be so down for them to continue the story in some regards. So I enjoyed it. My overall rating 1 to 10 is an 8.8 out of 10.
Wow. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, what a season of television. Going to the criminal underworld of Gotham is such a great place to go. Like, in the Dark Knight trilogy, they're in the joke with the Joker. Maroni's there and Falcone.
Mm-hmm.
They do say Falcone and Maroni in those movies.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've taken the I and changed it with an E.
Okay. I knew I wasn't losing my mind when I was saying Falcone every time in the earlier episodes of this. It's like, I swear I've heard that way, but anyway.
But yeah, they took it to a whole new level, and especially as a Sopranos fan and a Godfather fan, there were a lot of vibes of those two, but in a new age style. And like I said, rooting for the Penguin and then rooting for Sophia. Like Sophia was a great character. Like I wasn't so sure about how much screen time she was getting at first, but she killed it. Like she's probably probably favorite character of the season. I'd say she's
wow.
very. I mean, the Penguin was. Besides Oz, I guess. I'd put her second.
All right. Yeah. Probably would too.
Just great acting and writing. Set up the Batman 2 so well. And just, what a piece of shit, Oz. I can't wait for him to get his ass kicked. But that's what made the show so good. That's why the show is so good, this villain story. So I do have it at a 9.1.
Wow.
I had to give it over a 9 because it's so good, and it's not even a comic book show really.
Totally didn't feel like it, like at all. It felt like just an underground crime story or a mobster season or whatever the case may be. But yeah, that could have easily been outside of the Batman universe and still been amazing.
I hope Daredevil Born Again's like similar to this in a way where it could stand on its own.
Dude, again, the door is open there. Have we looked to see what kind of ratings the Penguin's gotten?
Like high eights, and then the really good episodes were like 9.5s on IMDb.
Okay. Okay, so it got solid feedback. Okay, yeah, 8.8. Oh, look at that on IMDb. Good. So yeah, it got solid reviews, and it was just so well done. So I don't know why you want to try to repeat this with other stories, or at least take aspects of it and continue this type of genre. JD, by the way, obviously is not here, but he threw out high eights at oh, whoa, sorry, spoiler alert. He's been here the whole time. He's just hanging out in the corner waiting his turn. Yeah, but he gave it he said a high eights for it out of 10 too, and put it in a top 3 comic series with Peacemaker and Daredevil. So nice. JD agrees with us. And that's high up there. So what, I know you weren't here last time where me and JD were briefly talking about it. Would you put this as your top 3, your top 2, your best comic book series?
Well, JD actually asked me in Week in Geek, and I mentioned okay. Peacemaker, and he was like, he said he forgot about that, and I think Peacemaker is probably top 3. Like, would you agree?
I think it's tough, man. I got Daredevil, I got Loki season 2 up there, and I got Peacemaker and now Penguin. But Peacemaker's incredible. I loved it. So I think it's got to have a fighting chance up there in the top 3. Yeah. I got to figure that one out now. It's like, cause I like Moon Knight, but I wouldn't put it in my top 3 by any means, but I really enjoyed that series. But I mean, Loki season 2 was pretty solid.
I like season 1 too.
Yeah.
I'd say top.
So 5. I don't know. It's tough. Yeah, top 5 easy with Loki and Peacemaker, Penguin, Daredevil, but
yeah, great show. All right, well, thank you for joining us on this journey through the season of Penguin, going back to Gotham. And we're gonna be, expanding, doing some fun episodes, maybe a couple top 5s, maybe some classic stuff. But there are some shows on the horizon. We do have Dune Prophecy coming out this weekend, actually. I think it comes out on the 16th. Or not the 16th.
Huh. I think 17th. Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's 17th. Or it's next weekend. But I think it's the 17th. And then we also have Skeleton Crew coming in December. So there's a lot of stuff coming out. And then we have Daredevil in March. I mean, just shows. There's a lot of shows going out, like every few months. But yeah, Craven, and then there's Cap 4 in February, and
is Craven still this year? It's this year still, right?
Yeah,
it's December. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, dude, we need to go see The Gladiator. When are we gonna see that?
That's right.
We gotta go see that.
No, absolutely. I forgot.
It comes out before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, I think Megan and I were talking about going to a drive-in and seeing it too. But I'll probably see it multiple times. But yeah, I'm down for sure.
No worries. But for Dune and Skeleton Crew, I don't think we'll be covering it episode by episode. We'll probably do like half a season at a time. I feel like we should cover Skeleton Crew. I mean, it is still Star Wars. We can at least just shit on it if it's dumb or whatever, and it'll still be fun.
I'm not gonna Agatha it. I'll watch the first episode when it comes out. Yeah. I'm just not gonna go in with high expectations, but I'm gonna go in and watch and see what they have. I'm expecting a Goonies kids focused series, but I'm gonna check it out for Star Wars sake. Yeah, we'll see. But I'm gonna watch it. But yeah, I'd be surprised if we wanted to cover every episode. I would be pretty blown away. I don't think there's gonna be a ton, but who knows? Yeah. I could be wrong.
You never know.
You never know.
Well, thank you, and we will see you next time here at Why So Sidious, a nerd podcast.
Fireworks. All right. Didn't even pause the upload. It just kept rolling through. There you go. The chat was unavailable in YouTube Live, so I don't know what the deal was there. But
Can you see it in Riverside?
no, I have a YouTube app
Oh, okay.
or the YouTube page pulled up too. And it doesn't say it's disabled.